Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in once again to One Team Garage. We have a few things to discuss this evening. In particular, Mr. Hobby, Mr. Color Thinner, Mr. Hobby, Mr. Color Leveling Thinner. I've tried out both of these thinners, and so far, I have to be honest with you, I have mixed results. Let's get into the first one. Just a quick sneak peek. It's not a spoiler alert, maybe on the color a little bit. This is my 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner in the beautiful pearl blue. Now, when I sprayed this clear coat on here, I cut it or mixed it down with, or thin it, however you want to see it, with Mr. Color Leveling Thinner. This was the first one I wanted to try out. I wanted to see, was it all that? Was the results going to be the same for me? For everybody praising this particular leveling thinner? And for me, it was like, so-so results. It's been 3 days now. And as you can see, I still have some orange peel on my hood. As far as leveling, yeah, especially on the sides, everything pretty much leveled out when it came to the clear coat. But I still wasn't happy with the orange peel that I still got in the finish. And that still can be wet sanded out. So this car is nothing like the final results will be. That's why I'm not too pressed about it. But I really did want better results with this Mr. Color Leveling Thinner. And a lot of y'all out there asking, okay, what did you do? What was the mixture? Well, that's the silver lining in this. I think that might have been one of the issues. I cut my clear coat 1K clear duplicate color with 50% of the Mr. Color Leveling Thinner. So it's a 50-50 mix. 50% clear coat, 50% leveling thinner. And that's how I got the orange peel, I believe. That was one test, right? Then I had an accidental test. The accidental test, here I go again, wasn't paying attention. So what I did was I mixed up a batch of my clear coat with the Mr. Color Thinner. And that percentage was my favorite, the ratio I love to use. And that's 65% paint or either clear coat and 35% thinner. So even though I thought I had my leveling thinner here, this was the regular thinner. And it's not too bad. Being honest with you, when I did an accident with the 65-35 on the regular thinner, I got better results than the 50-50 leveling thinner I did with the Plymouth. So that was promising, right? So my next thing was, let me mix this correctly with my favorite numbers, 65%, 35%. This time I got the right leveling thinner, 65% clear coat, 1K clear, 35% Mr. Color Leveling Thinner. On the test piece here, that's a hood I picked up from another kit. And look at the results of that. Now I sprayed this probably an hour ago, so it's soaking wet. Still gassing out. So I'm not worried about the little imperfections in there. That can be dust that can easily be removed with 3000 grit sandpaper. So results on my 65% 1K clear mixed with the 35% Mr. Color Leveling Thinner, excellent. Those are the type of results I was looking for. It's trial and error. Nothing's in concrete. I was going off the suggestions I had found on YouTube about 50-50, 50% paint, 50% leveling thinner. But that particular percentage did not work for me. The percentage that worked for me with my clear coat, maybe it's because I'm using automotive clear coat, the 1K clear in the duplicate color, that I had to use 65% and then 35% of the leveling thinner. That's my go-to formula anyway. Who knows? I had to go with what works for me. So at the end of the day, my end result with the Mr. Color Leveling Thinner, very promising. I just had to go to my formula, especially using these automotive paints, I guess, and automotive clear coats. 65% paint or clear coat with the lacquer and 35% leveling thinner. When this dries in 3 days and gets a good wet sanding, that's gonna look like a mirror. Now I know there's a ton of information online, YouTube, wherever you look when it comes to paints, especially when you're airbrushing. From my experience, it's a case by case basis. It's a paint by paint basis. No ratio is set in stone. You might have a standard deviation of where you want to be at. For me, I don't want to move too much out of the parameters of 65% and 35%, but who knows? A different paint, it might change. So if you're trying different paints, different techniques, I highly suggest you go ahead and run you a test before you put it on the body. Now, I did run a test on the lacquer thinner, the Mr. Color leveling thinner, before I sprayed this car. But when I actually sprayed on the car, the results was different. So that goes to show you, even if you do a test prior to you painting a car, you can still come out with different results. But we're going to see what the results are on the next car I spray straight from scratch, wet sanded. Oh, that's something else. This hood was not sanded at all. I just sprayed it with some primer, hit it with some color, and then used my airbrush to put my 65-35% ratio on the car to get these results on the clear coat. So I'm excited. I really am. Just a little more trial and error with the Mr. Color leveling thinner. I think I'm gonna lock it in. And I'm seeing promising results for this Mr. Color thinner as well. Like I was talking about in my last video, I might just drop a few drops of the retard in there. Just a few. You see, can it get me close to this? So I have a lot more work and testing to do with Mr. Color leveling thinner and Mr. Color thinner as well. So far, so good. As long as I can wet sand it out, I'm winning. So I hope you enjoyed this quick review of Mr. Color thinner and Mr. Color leveling thinner. I know it's a lot of information online when it pertains to different types of thinners you should use with lacquer paints. I didn't want to just throw up these particular thinners here without you seeing my results. When I got it right, these are the results I got. And it's only been gassing out for an hour. So, Mr. Color leveling thinner is not too bad. Pretty decent. Just got to practice using it, get your formula down. I think you get some pretty good results. Like I said, this has only been an hour. And you see the clear coat on there. It's still leveling out. It's going to be leveling out for a couple of days, I imagine, while it dries and cures. But I'll keep y'all posted on my progress with Mr. Color leveling thinner. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get to building.